who lived in a 3-story house with his family. On the first floor, his parents had their rooms. On the second floor, he and his older brother each had their own rooms. His brother was married and lived there with his wife, while the storyteller lived with his fiancée. One night, he was working late in his room. His job often required him to stay awake until the early hours of the morning. His fiancée worked as a nurse at a local hospital, and that night she had been called in for an emergency shift. He was alone. His room had a balcony connected by a large glass sliding door. A thick curtain covered the glass so no one could see inside from outside. Around midnight, he decided to step onto the balcony for a cigarette. As he stood outside smoking, he glanced through the glass door and saw something completely normal. His fiancée had apparently arrived home. He watched her walk into the room, place her handbag on his desk, and head toward the bathroom. Relieved that she hadn't caught him smoking, he quickly put out the cigarette, washed his hands, and went back inside. As he entered the room, he saw her disappear into the bathroom. The bathroom door closed behind her. Then he heard her voice. "Give me a minute. I'll be right out." Everything seemed perfectly normal. He sat back down at his computer and continued working. A few minutes later, something caught his attention. The handbag she had placed on the desk was gone. He frowned. His fiancée always left her bag in the exact same spot. It was one of her habits. But now it had completely disappeared. At first, he brushed it off. 10, then 15 minutes passed. Water was still running inside the bathroom. Yet she never came out. Growing impatient, he walked to the bathroom door and knocked. "Hey, how much longer are you going to be?" No answer. He knocked again. Still nothing. Finally, he said loudly, "I'm coming in." He opened the bathroom door. And froze. The bathroom was empty. No one was there. The sink faucet was running, but the room itself was completely vacant. His heart began racing. Trying to stay calm, he convinced himself that she must have gone downstairs to the kitchen without him noticing. He left the room and headed downstairs. The living room was dark. The kitchen was empty. Dinner was exactly where his mother had left it earlier. No lights. No sounds. No sign of anyone. Now he was genuinely frightened. He returned upstairs. As he climbed the staircase, he felt as if someone was walking somewhere above him. The feeling was impossible to ignore. He checked his parents' room. Both of them were asleep. As he quietly closed the door and turned around, he suddenly felt a presence standing near the staircase. Someone was there. Watching. But he couldn't see anyone. His hands shaking, he pulled out his phone and called his fiancée. She answered after a few rings. "Hey," she said. "Where are you?" he asked. There was a brief silence. Then she replied. "What do you mean?" "I'm still at the hospital. I've been here all night." The color drained from his face. If she was still at the hospital, then who had he seen? Who had walked into his room? Who had spoken to him from inside the bathroom? He didn't tell her what had happened. Instead, he grabbed his laptop, went downstairs, and spent the rest of the night sleeping on the couch with every light turned on. The next morning, his fiancée returned home. As soon as she saw him, she looked confused. "Why were you sleeping downstairs?" she asked. Then she added something that made his blood run cold. "And why was there loud music playing in your room all night?" He stared at her. "I wasn't in my room," he said. "I slept down here." He then told her everything that had happened. To his surprise, she wasn't shocked. Instead, she looked concerned. Then she said something he would never forget. "This isn't the first time. Confused, he asked what she meant. She explained that several months earlier, his brother and sister-in-law had been watching a movie late at night. At some point, they looked through the glass door and saw him and his fiancée standing in the hallway outside, talking to each other. His brother stepped out and called to them. "Guys, it's late. You should get some sleep." According to his brother, both figures turned toward him at exactly the same time. Then, in perfect synchronization, they replied, "Okay. We're going to bed." The figures walked away. A few moments later, his brother went to their room. He opened the door. The room was empty. No one was inside. Because that night, neither of them had been home. To this day, no one in that family can explain who, or what, they saw. And sometimes, the scariest thing isn't seeing a ghost. It's seeing yourself.